everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I have a special guest with us. He is an actor and most famous for his role as the killer in My Bloody Valentine 3D. I have with us Richard John Walters. Richard, welcome to the Horror Room.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be here.
It's a pleasure having you on, man. It's a pleasure having you on. Now, Richard, you started off and you went to law school and you worked in the legal field. Now, how did that transition to you getting into acting?
Right. So I was going to say, why I got into acting in the first place, it's because I was afraid to talk in front of people. I was afraid to raise my hand to talk in class, believe it or not. And so I remember one day, this is Professor Robert Taylor in the philosophy of law asked a question, and the answer was moral relativism. But I did not help out my fellow student, Ari Brofman, because I was afraid to talk, man. And so the transition came. I was always a heavy partier, and after law school, I quit drinking and then really kind of took up acting in little community theater is how I started. And then I, sort of signed up for commercials after that. And then, so I was doing like plays and community theater and then doing these commercials or whatnot. And then, oh God, I don't know how deep you want to get into these interviews and who's going to hear them and whatnot,
but it's funny.
Well, the truth of the matter is, like, I'm bipolar, and anyways, and I had some problems. I had some problems with my license to practice law, so I had to take a sabbatical for a while, and I went out to California, and I got roles on like 24. I really didn't, I tell people like I didn't win an audition. There was a movie, Malibu's Most Wanted or something like that, or Malibooty. I forget the name of it. And anyways, I won that audition. Is that? But mine was called Malibooty or something like that. Oh, really?
Okay, so it was like a knockoff of it,
yeah, something, I don't know. Yeah, you have to look that one up. And so then, I was working as a laborer, working as an extra, trying to go to auditions while I was on my sabbatical from law, and then I took that damn California bar exam like 3 effing times, and then I got my license to practice law, and I came back to Pittsburgh, and then they were filming My Bloody Valentine locally, and there's a little bit of law for you. I think it's still part of their contract, but Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA, have to hire, they get around this, but they're supposed to have local hires. People from Pittsburgh are supposed to be put in the movie. And so I was a local person, and, it was an under 5 role. That's under 5 lines. And, anyways, it was it really fit the bill, and it was an honor to get the role and to it's been it's been fun doing the conventions,
Yes,
it's a lot of it's great to meet people. Yeah.
Now, Richard, you actually brought up something that I relate to. Like, so growing up, I was a very shy kid. Like, it was almost to the point like people didn't think I thought I was like a mute. But I talked if somebody asked me a question, but I just was not a talker. You know what I mean? I just was not a extrovert.
Yeah.
And like I used to shake like a leaf when I had to stand up in front of class, or like I remember I ran for class president one time, and I was just shaking because to stand up in front of people scared the shit out of me. It really did.
Yeah, man, it's really true. I was like really super tight, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then like I remember, well, so when I went to when I went to college to be a mortician, right? That's my day job. And one of the
yeah,
classes I had to take was public speaking, because as a funeral director and a mortician, you got to stand up in front of a large church and speak. You have to be good at talking and in front of large crowds. Most people think morticians, you got to be an introvert. You hang out with a bunch of dead bodies. That's only half of the job. The other half of the job, you got to set arrangements. You got to stand up in churches. You got to be a presenter. You're the ringmaster at a funeral. And
yeah, I can imagine so.
yeah, and like also, like if the clergyman doesn't show up, you have to be the clergyman. You have to do a sermon, which I had to do a handful of times. And but like it
Yeah,
was crazy because this public speaking and the job working in the funeral industry, and also too to pick up chicks, that all worked together, and that's how I was able to create. Even though I'm an introvert, it was how I kind of helped to become an
yeah,
extrovert, a pretend extrovert, because women do not want a quiet guy. The profession I was in, you couldn't be a quiet guy, and I was forced to be an extrovert, even
yeah,
though I'm an introvert at heart.
yeah. You adapted, man. Yeah, like
Yes.
it's I always got around it by like drinking tons of alcohol, and that's how I was able to talk to people or dance. I was so
Yeah.
inhibited. I just and then like that's obviously that's not the way to go. Like you can cause
No.
real
No.
problems. Yeah, I've got a few AA and NA meetings under my belt for sure. But yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all right. So let's shoot over to My Bloody Valentine. So there's shooting in Pittsburgh, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you saw the original beforehand.
I saw bits and parts of it, a great deal of it.
Mhm.
I don't know verse for verse or whatever, but I was definitely familiar with the film. We'll say that, and I had seen it. Yeah.
Now, were you nervous? Like, so when you got this role, were you like, oh shit, this is one of these horror reboots? Because I mean, during that time, they were rebooting every classic horror movie from the '80s,
Yeah.
and majority of them were not good. So, like, was that something that you were worried about?
Um, I was very happy to get a job, and
Hmm.
then B, you know, um, I just worry about getting the lines out of my mouth. And the truth is that they were not all that complex, and it's so much fun to be an actor.
I bet.
And yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, it didn't, I I did not think about the competition or doing better than the original. I just wanted to listen to the director, Patrick Lussier, great guy, his direction, and make it happen that way. It's yeah, yeah. I guess they're gonna like. Well, what was cool about My Bloody Valentine was like there was the original, there
Hmm.
was us, and now I guess somebody is gonna come. Have you read this? They're gonna try to make a My Bloody Valentine sequel,
Yes.
prequel, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know much about that outfit. Do you know them?
I don't know anything about what the new project. I know that I did know what I was on my research for or interview. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that is something that's on the horizon. So, and but my
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, like so I enjoyed the first Bloody Valentine, even though it wasn't a bloody movie. Like the first one definitely wasn't a bloody movie, but like I kind of did some of the history behind it, and it was because of during that time in the movie industry, especially horror, they were sensitizing the gore and the violence in horror movies so hard. You look at a lot of Friday the 13th and even the Halloweens. This is before director cuts. They had this movie, and then they were just censoring the hell out of them. So when I went to go see it, My Bloody Valentine 3D was, by the way, the fact that it was 3D and actually used the 3D effectively was huge.
Yeah, the 3D worked.
Yeah, it really did. But that movie was gory. But that movie was gory as hell. I mean, it was just over the top blood. Now, to get into this murderous killer role, did you have to do anything special? To make yourself into this intimidating force? How did you get yourself into that mindset?
I have a naturally low voice anyway. And so for me, it's just giving the director what he wants. Literally, the director really is like spoon feeding you. It's obviously we're in a mine. I'm pissed off at damn it, what's his name? From
Supernatural, yes. I can't think of his name either right now.
Oh, God, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking to him, bitching at him, telling him your daddy, you're we had the argument. It's obvious, what my intention and motivation is. And so it doesn't, it's not, I don't have to whip myself into a frenzy to get myself there. It's pretty, it's all laid out for you. It's an argument in a mind. And then, it's, the nurse, I went after the nurse and, in another scene. But the intention and the motivation is obvious, yeah, I don't know. It's all very conscious acting and presentation. It's not, it's not going to be a method thing, where I have to, wind up in, some fucking corridor or, bathroom for hours and do some fucking emotional recall or pre-call or whatever the fuck. Yeah, there's no time for it. You get your fucking know your lines and get the fuck in there and get them right.
And just rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you really, that's what you have to do. Yeah, you really need to.
Now, to be such an iconic horror character, I've seen you at many horror conventions, and you're in a lot of horror conventions throughout the country. Now, how amazing is it to go to these horror conventions and see people lining up and they're telling you, they're like, "Oh my goodness, I love you in this role," and they want to get pictures of you, autograph. I mean, that must be like a whole fucking mind fuck, right?
Yeah, it's very heartwarming. People make some of this stuff themselves. Like, I'm just trying to reach back, and I was in San Antonio, and this guy created this mask, helmet, presentation, and it was just perfection, man. And I'm signing it, and then it's they have these are relics to them or something, you know what I mean? And so so I totally get off in the fandom. I think it's great, and it's very heartwarming.
So one of the questions I do have to ask you, I'm going to throw you a hardball question. Now, So, I mean, when you're at the horror conventions, well, I go to a lot all throughout the country. Um, is it tough? I mean, is it tough to be behind the table? Because I mean, there's people who listen. I see these people online, and there's some people who want to tell you their whole entire life story, but there's a line. I mean, does that? Are you like? I mean, I know you have to be nice, but are you sometimes like, okay, like I I'm glad that you're a
Hey,
fan.
honestly, that's a difficult position to be in. I really normally don't have that problem.
Okay.
If I have like 2 or 3 people backed up, I just don't have that many people in line. But I can see where, you know, someone's just chatting along, or some people come by and they'll just start talking to you.
Yeah.
And so you gotta like shift focus, so
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, I don't mind
Because I've
too much.
always wondered that. I mean, I always wonder when it gets like, like I remember one time I was standing and it was Kane Hodder, Jason, and like this guy was talking. He was literally talking about his whole entire life story, and I could see like Kane Hodder's eyes, like face glazing over, and I could see he looked at everybody else behind the guy in the line and was like, "I'm sorry," and like he was just went right back, and I was like, "Oh, that poor guy."
Yeah, well, um, it's important for the talent to interact with the fans.
Mm-hmm.
I hear some of these fans complain about some of these people, and you know, I don't think I don't think you can be too careful in, telling somebody I have to talk to somebody else now. I'm sorry, something like that,
Yeah.
because this, the interaction is so important. Like, it sort of like dawned on me. Oh, I don't know, this year for whatever reason, the horror community is community, and it's like any other community, and they gather for a sense of community and to communicate and to, and to connect and the collective. And it's just anything that aids in that process. The talent, celebrities, whatever, talk a little more than they have to. Well, I guess they're gonna have to suck it up and do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something.
Because I mean, I can imagine that has to be tough. I can imagine that has to be tough. Like when do you cut a fan off? You know what I mean? Like, or how do you cut a fan off if they're going too long? And like, I mean, thank God that's something I don't have to worry about. So like, because I've always wondered that in line, like, at what point do you? I mean, is it 20 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? I mean, at what point do you call it quits with a fan and not piss that fan off? You know what I mean?
A lot sooner than 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
I'd be moving along after 5, probably. After that, I'll send you a book.
Yeah. Oh man, but yes, I do have that in my. I did a video which is the top 5 things I hate about horror conventions, and I'm like, I hate the fans who are long winded. I should say, as someone who's standing in line as well, I'm looking like, okay, dude, yeah, like this is crazy,
irritating, yeah.
No. So all right, so. Out of all the horror, I mean, you listen. You've been to a lot of horror conventions. I mean, I think I saw you recently. The last time I saw you at a convention was here in Maryland. You were at the Maryland. What was it called? The Horror and Popcorn convention. That was the last time.
Yeah, Horror and Popcorn, and it's definitely Maryland. Definitely outside of Baltimore. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the town.
Yeah, I can't remember on it. I think it was Pikesville. I think it was Pikesville, Maryland.
Might have been.
Yeah. Now you've been cons all throughout the country. What is one con that you would say that like that you were like, wow, I was really impressed by the setup, by the turnout, by the experiences, by the vendors. Is there one con that you've always been impressed by?
I don't know. I had a great time at the New Jersey Horror Con.
That's a fun
You
one.
know, they were. I was in Atlantic City.
Yep.
On the boardwalk.
You can literally walk around the corner and you're at the beach. Yeah.
Right, man.
Yeah, that's a badass con.
Yeah, this is a great setup, and then they had me in and out taking pictures, and it was really fun. Yeah, so like it was definitely for me personally, that was just like one convention that just had itself together. That's for sure. Yeah, it was very, very favorable. You know, because the truth of the matter is, some conventions are okay, and some conventions are better than others. It's always good to be at conventions.
Yes,
it's supposed to be fun, you know, and yeah, but still, yeah.
The New Jersey one. I mean, I'm sad because I heard that was at the Showboat in Atlantic City Boardwalk, and like I've been to it twice, but it's no longer. I don't think they're doing it there anymore because they turned.
They might not be. Yeah,
because they turned the Showboat into like this multi-million-dollar water park, indoor water park.
Oh well.
Yeah. It's
like I was actually kind of looking for it, you know, Facebook advertisements, whatever, and I didn't see it playing at the same place. So you're right.
Yeah, they're doing it somewhere else in New Jersey, but it's not the Showboat in Atlantic City anymore, which I love that location.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a great breakfast too, man.
Oh, did he really? I didn't have breakfast.
They really did, man. Downstairs. Oh man, I loved it.
I fucking love. I love Atlantic City. Atlantic City has changed over the years, but I'm one of the people who still have fond memories of going to Atlantic City. It's like a dirty version of Vegas. You know what I mean? It's like a smaller, dirty version of Vegas. And like I used to stay at this hotel. It was called a Chevy. I don't even know if this hotel stays there anymore, but I used to stay there. And I used to in my 20s, I used to love Atlantic City. And for them to have a horror convention literally right there, you could go to the beach afterwards. You could make a vacation out of that convention, and I absolutely love that convention, 100%.
Yeah, man, I love it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll go back there someday. Who knows? For sure.
Now, being from Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh is a iconic city for when it comes to horror. George A. Romero, Tom Savini. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, hell, there's even a school there, for horror makeup and so forth. I mean,
Tom Savini has that school, yeah.
Yeah, and to be in a city that has such a rich horror past to it, and to also be in a horror movie. I mean, do you look back and feel like, damn, this is amazing? Like,
yeah, there's some pretty good coincidences there, who's the guy that directed the zombie?
George A. Romero.
There you go.
Right there.
He was like Tom Savini, Tom Atkins. Yeah, who else? Yeah. No, when I was a kid, there was a guy named Chili Bill Cardille, and he had Chiller Theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that so it's it's awesome to be part of all that.
Yes, I mean you're definitely
Great
part
honor.
of that Pittsburgh horror history now, which I love. By the way, I love
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, even though I live in Baltimore, and they say that people in Baltimore hate Pittsburgh people because of the football teams. But I'm an Eagles fan, so that doesn't even matter. But I love
Right.
Pittsburgh. If by the way, anybody who's here who's never been to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh is definitely a place. Even though they call it Shittsburg and everything, Pittsburgh is a place you definitely want to visit. I mean, I think that Pittsburgh has probably the best baseball stadium in baseball, and I've been to all of them. And
They say that routinely.
PNC
It's
is
just that
a
the owners are
amazing
the
stadium.
jackass.
Yes, they can't
Whatever.
put a winning team together, but that stadium is beautiful. Heinz Field is beautiful. It's a beautiful stadium. I mean, if you're into art, I mean, the Andy Warhol Museum, Pittsburgh has a lot to it. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I have spent a lot of time here, but there are many good things about Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's because of the topography, like mountains and rivers. Everything got forced into being central. You know what I mean? So there's no spread out. There's a metropolis, whatever the hell you want to call it. But initially, anyways, there's like a bunch of these old houses that are scrunched together, which is great for walking around, man, and going shopping and stuff. Yeah, so that's good. And
it's great bars, restaurant. I mean, listen, I'm selling Pittsburgh as a vacation spot. Go to Pittsburgh. I mean, they even have like that lift thing. I was on that lift. I've been to Pittsburgh several times. I'm a sports fan.
Well, nice.
And I've seen all your teams play before, the Penguins, everyone. And so I've been in Pittsburgh quite a few times. And Pittsburgh is an amazing city that I think doesn't get its just, and people don't know how fun of a city Pittsburgh is.
Yeah, what is it? It's got a good spirit to it.
It does.
It really does. The right bar, you'll find some good people and have fun.
It's blue collar. Sure. They're just normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much so.
Now, I've never been to Pittsburgh in the winter, so I'm pretty sure it gets fucking horrible there in the winter, but go in the spring.
I don't like getting cold anymore at all, so I don't recommend Pittsburgh in the winter at all. Unless you want to ice skate downtown at the Steel Building, there's a nice little ice skating rink in the winter, which is kind of cool. Yeah. But other than that, not my thing being in the winter anymore.
I don't fuck with I don't fuck with that area, Midwest, any of that in the winter. So spring and summer, I'm there. All right.
Yeah.
Richard, this is a horror show, so I'm going to ask you, I do this with majority of my interviews, I'm going to ask you 3 random horror questions. These are your opinion. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Growing up, what was the first horror movie that really scared the shit out of you?
Growing up. All right. On Night Gallery, and I was 5 years old, I was watching The Picture of Dorian Gray. And I was crying so bad, I was like afraid to die. My mother was really upset about me. Nobody put me to bed before watching The Night Gallery. It scared the crap out of me. But I'd say, so that was like really a television show. But that really scared the bejesus out of me. But I think my mother took me to see The Omen, which is kind of scary.
The Omen.
And then,
good.
Yeah, and then trying to figure out what age did I see The Exorcist? and then
I think The Exorcist
and then
fucks everybody up.
yeah,
I think The Exorcist is that one movie that really fucks everybody up.
yeah. I think I'd be afraid to watch that now by
Yeah,
myself. I'd have to keep the lights
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Oh my god! But oh, what the hell? Jack Nicholson.
Oh, The Shining.
Yeah, thanks. Like it,
Mhm.
Shining scared the shit out of me. It was a good scare when I was in high school watching that one. So it's really between that. That Night Gallery, Picture of Dorian Gray, and Shining.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's the movie.
The second question I'm gonna ask you. So
Sorry,
the first time
sorry, it took so long.
You're good. You're good. So the second time the first time you watch My Bloody Valentine 3D, did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's
Did you ever?
it's got
Did you watch the first one and then yours and compare the two?
no.
No.
The My Bloody Valentine 3D has a certain, it's like a campiness or something to it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's got that flavor of campiness, you know. So it's just kind of a different offering than the original, I think. And I don't know if I guess I'm making excuses.
No, but I agree because the 3D, it kind of had a horror comedy aspect to it. Yes, there was some over top.
Yeah, I was going to say comedy. I don't want to say
it. but yeah, as soon as people was fucking getting killed in gruesome ways, but it was a little bit. It didn't take itself too seriously.
Right.
Yes.
No, that's a good summary. Yeah.
And I definitely respect that for it.
Yeah.
And I actually prefer 3D over the original. By the way, I really do.
Oh, nice. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, some people do. Not everybody. Mm-hmm. Some do. Yeah.
The third one. The question I basically. So you've been to tons of horror conventions. You've been around actors and actresses and filmmakers, horror filmmakers. Who was the first person that you met? You were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here and such is near me.
So this is sort of like that, but it was on a movie set. Okay. I was doing Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. Mm-hmm. I was fucking starstruck, man. And but I got a lot of days like this is the honest to God's truth. What do they call that? Fucking the Jiffy, the GSI, what is it called? What do you call it? GFI? CGI? Jesus Christ. The CGI. I was a CGI for Mr. Hyde when Hugh Jackman was fighting him. And I was also the stand-in for the Frankenstein, and I got mic'd and got a line or two out of it, so I still get a residual and I got a credit. And the last day of filming, it just happened that there was a long walk down the set, the wall, this hallway. It's about like, oh God, at least 50 yards, I'd say. At least, maybe more. And I go walking down the hallway with him, and I said, hey, my name is Rich. Do you like rugby? He goes, oh, I love it. And So I pitched him this rugby screenplay that I wrote called Bread of Heaven. And he told me to send it to his agency, Endeavor. And who's Endeavor? He's Endeavor. That's what it says to me. So I sent it. But Endeavor showed no interest in my wonderful rugby screenplay. But nonetheless, like that was pretty that would be
That was the
mind blowing, the most,
I mean,
yeah, because you see, yeah, I don't know,
yeah,
I'm definitely, I used to actually think of this of myself, which is kind of depressing. Like I'm breathing the same air as these fucking people. Why can't I fucking be doing what they're doing? You know what I mean? As an extra or whatever. Yeah. You gotta have a good attitude, whatever. But yeah, Charlize Theron. I met her. Yeah,
smoking hot.
She was that. Yeah, she was like knock you backwards, beautiful. And that was on oh god, it was on The Italian Job. And oh man, she was just like shocking, beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Ed Norton Jr. was in it. I have this small role in it, but yeah, those are. I could drone on maybe for a while.
Did you meet Kiefer Sutherland?
What's that?
Did you meet Kiefer Sutherland on 24? I said, did you meet Kiefer Sutherland when you were on 24?
I did not shake hands with him or anything, but once in a while I'd give him a head nod or something. I drove a fucking car around a lot on that set, and then I was a Secret Service guy. Yeah, that was okay for being an extra. Doesn't get much better than that, I guess.
Now, did you ever meet anybody that you liked, and then let's say you liked, and then you met them in person, and you were like, "Oh, this kind of ruined my experience of the way I thought of that"?
I can honestly say I was never disappointed in the way anybody famous acted around me. Nobody gave me shit. Nobody gave me disrespect. Nobody called me an asshole. Just, the closest but I still think this is a good guy. All right, so who's the director of Transformers and
Michael Bay?
Men in Black? Hey, thank you. Yes. So I gotta tell you a Michael Bay story. And you know what? I don't want to be critical of him. He makes great movies.
He does.
I'm just a jerk off. But he gets going, man, and he starts yelling on a set. and I was there in the island, and I was wearing I was an extra. I was one of the clones in the island. Mm-hmm. And there was this part of the, you should see these studios or whatever, but anyways, part of the studio was like an inside room, an inside area. And Mr. Bay went out and set up the lighting, and the cameras and everything. And he'd set it up. I'd watch them set it up. And then I watched these other guys. Like, I'm sitting at the entrance, really not doing anything, just sitting on a chair. I watched these guys go into this place and then change all the cameras and the lighting. And then I watched them leave. And then I watched Michael Bay go in there, and he just went, oh!
And you were amused the whole entire time.
Who the fuck's in this? I just shut up, man. I didn't say anything. And I think someone came running and quickly fessed up to it. He was fucking just pissed as hell. And the other guy, I remember the other guy saying, I wanted to make it better. You know. And they were hugging each other after like 15 minutes or something.
But that's what I hear about filmmakers. I hear that not all I hear filmmakers can be very hot tempered, but I understand why though, because like they are the captain of the ship. Like everything rides on them. So like, you know, it's a lot of pressure. It's a, you know, they got to make a great movie. They got to make sure everything lines up with the budget, you know, time frame. So I can understand their patience being short because it's such a stressful fucking job.
Yeah, man, you gotta make decisions. You gotta stay on, you know, course, and you know that's you know.
I wouldn't want to do that job.
Our example, Mr. Bay set up a shot that was pretty good for him, I think. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. And one of the boys thought it needed some improvement, apparently.
Oh, I would have loved to have been on that couch watching too. I would have loved to be on that couch watching too.
Oh my god, man! They gotta do a skit on that Saturday Night Live or something.
Yeah,
so funny.
Okay, Richard, where can everyone find you on social media?
It's really RJW Esquire, ESQUIRE at, gmail.com. RJW Esquire. It's Richard John Walters on Facebook. Also, Richard John Walters. You should be able to find me really anywhere. And then maybe the Instagram thing is RJW Esquire, something like that. And then on YouTube, you know, I'm putting stuff on there. So it's really like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and that's where I am.
Awesome. Now, are you making any appearances soon at any horror conventions?
No, unfortunately, I've not been scheduled for anything. So we'll see if that changes in the future.
Okay.
Be sure and post it on my Facebook. All right.
Yes, because the next one you're at, and I happen to be on, I got to definitely come by and say hi. I definitely got to come by and say hi.
Yeah, man, definitely do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if you have a link for this interview or whatever.
Yep, I'm gonna as soon as it goes up, I'm gonna shoot it over to you and we can get it. And I'm gonna share.
God bless you.
We're both gonna share. All right, listen, everybody, get over and follow Richard on social media, and also too, if you haven't seen it yet, check out My Bloody Valentine 3D. I mean, he still gets residuals on it, so go ahead and watch it, and and also look out for him and on his social media for any appearances and horror conventions he might be appearing at. Richard, this has been a fucking blast having you on, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it's good times. Yes. Thanks, brother. Appreciate
it. No problem. And everybody, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and that is Richard John Walters. We'll see you next time. Take care.
All right, Travis. See ya.